So I've finally done it. I've finally gone and put the locker in, and I'm out here now testing it, comparing it to the videos I got earlier when I was unlocked, and now that I'm locked. I'll do the ones where I drive it on the street to see what it drives like on the street. So far it's not as bad as everyone makes out. Everyone carries on like a bunch of sticks, but on the street it's hardly even noticeable. So I'm going to do some laps around the street in front of my house, and just so you can sort of hear it locking and unlocking and what it feels like. I've got some videos of how I actually installed it into the diff center, so I'll put that at the very end for anyone who wants to see a rough guide on how to install them and what's involved. We're going to do the before test on the hills here. Start off on the easy one, see how we go, and see what the difference a locker will make before and after all this. It's hard to do a test when it just climbs in. And I'm on 40 psi. I'm on highway pressures, but anyway, here's what it is. I got one where I couldn't get up. So we'll go home, put the locker in, and come back and see if I can get up that one. Just what I didn't want, mud. So I'm going to try and scrape that off. I've got to get under this car and fit all that stuff, and I don't want mud dropping all over me. Might even go to a car wash. Yeah, it's a lot of bloody work when you're on your own and you're stripping everything down to nothing and starting again. But oh well, let's go see if it made a difference. See if I actually like this damn thing or not, or if I'm coming home and pulling it back out again. So we're back out here. I forgot the other mic, so hopefully you can hear me good on this one. The drive here, it just drove like normal. Like there was no big banging, clonking, or any of that crap everyone talks about on the road. I pulled into the servo, went round a roundabout. I done hard turn circle at the start of the track. And you can hear it clicking a little, but nothing over the top like people talk about. So I'm a little bit worried I didn't shim it up enough or something. Like I don't know if it's, I thought it'd be more violent and more harder, but I done a quick run up this one here off camera, and it seems to just idle up. But I think once I see the camera from the behind, I might actually see if both wheels are spinning or what. But yeah, I'm a little bit worried. I followed the instructions to a T, got all the clearances perfect in the middle, so I hope I didn't fuck it up because I really don't want to pull it out and have to pull it apart again. But yeah, I'll set the cameras up now and we'll have a quick look. Just for some perspective, so I'm down in that hole, standing up straight, 6'2", and that's up there sort of thing, like that's me holding my arm level. So it's a deep hole. you'll hear it properly or not, but I'm going to do a full hard turn now, see if you can hear the clicking of it unlocking. It's not as loud as you think, so you might have to really listen. We'll see what it shows up like with the mic. This is with the directional mic, so it's the mic pointing at the car. Hopefully you can hear that. So this is with the road mic attached to the diff, or closer to the diff. Go right next to it. So see what that sounds like. So yeah, overall, I am stoked with this locker. Like, I got to get back out here. Like, it's late at night now. I think it's nearly 5 o'clock. So it's about o'clock for me. I've had a few goes out here, and it's just, I think it's made this car another level again. So I am happy as hell with the locker, and so glad I installed it. I don't know why it took me so long to do it. Well, I do. Like, if you see, you watch the next part with the 2 different centers. But yeah, anyway. So it's a definite yes for the rear lockers for me, and I think way better than an LSD. Yeah, it's cheap. They're easy, 4-wheel drive systems, makes them. There is a bit of a lead time on them, so if you're thinking about doing it, buy it sooner rather than later, because you're going to be waiting, I think they're like 4 to 5 weeks at the moment. But yeah, my review on the rear locker so far is it's just, yeah, I'm happy as hell. You can't, yeah. I'll let you be the judge of what you think of in the videos, but knowing my car so well and what it can and can't do, I think this has opened things up where I can do a lot more now. And I still got to sort out my front travel, because as you hear, those CVs click. And I think that was something I was a little bit worried about. I was worried about, if you know the all drive system on the Territories, the resistance is what, like when it breaks individual wheels, and that gives resistance, and that's what transfers drive around to wheels with grip, I suppose you'd say, that aren't spinning. So I was a little bit worried that the resistance from the locker in the rear would just turn it into like a front wheel drive. And I still seem to get a lot of drive to the front. I think that might have picked up a little bit. Might be getting a little bit more drive to the front, but just going up, you can still feel the locker in the rear. It still kicks back, and it still just pushes you up where you can't. So if I get rid of that violent CV binding by changing my travel eventually, then I don't think it's going to be an issue at all. Like, it's going to be great. And then I do eventually want to put the LSD in the front, so that'll create more resistance and probably put it back to how it was originally. So anyway, I'm done now, so I'm going to go home. It's 4 o'clock. So, gonna have a go at putting this locker in. I've already had one go before Tyler, but we couldn't get the clearances right. There was way too much clearance. That's a locker in there. It's another diff center, but couldn't get it right. I said I was going to pay someone else to do it, but hey, let's have one more crack at it. I sort of read the instructions about, I don't know, 100 times now. I think I've got it. I think I understand what they want now. So this is going to be dodgy as, but hopefully it works. Crown wheel to make sure the pinion wheel right. You just have that's why it's critical to mark these. You've got to make this special tool to unwind that. So been around 3 times. It starts to get loose now. You don't need the tool. You just turn it by hand. So you watch that mark go around. So there's one more full time round. 5, same as the other side, and maybe getting close now. Yep, right there. Just to see now how I can pull it out. And there goes the centre. Now I want to mark here, so where's my white line? Here's the white line. Now mark with the red pen. A bit hard to see on this, but that's where I want to put it back in. So same like I said on the other side, turn it back, and then I know to go 5 times. So this one turned out to be 5 times, both sides. Oh, so that's it. Center out. You can see all the crappy spider gears in here. That's what we're getting rid of. Crown wheel bolts have to come off. Left thread. They're not your normal bolts. It's the opposite. Don't, if you try and crank them the right, like the normal way in or off, yeah, it's opposite. Left hand thread. So all the bolts are out by 1. You got to mark your center and your crown wheel. Now try and do this one-handed or hold it on. There we go. Look at that, multi-talented. There's the crown wheel off. So something weird on these ones is these are both out of a 410 out of an SX, but they're slightly different. This one you can separate the diff into 2, where this one's open wide so that you can get to the gears like that. So there you go, both SX 410 diffs, but for some reason they're slightly different. Looking at the, like you can see this one how wide it is, so that's this one. I don't know where the hell or why this one's different. It had normal spider gears, it was a normal open diff, so anyway, someone else might be able to explain that. It's too hot for this at the moment. The shed's hot in the shed, Queensland. It's raining outside, but still stinking hot and humid. But anyway, I don't think that matters. I'm still going to knock the pin through. Knock the pin through. That will release that center, I don't know what you want to call it, center pin that holds all the gears. Knock that out, and they all fall out, and then we put a locker in. Here to pull that pin out. You see, yep. Punch through, that's as far as my punch goes, so I get the pliers on that, pull that the rest of the way. Pliers didn't want to pull out, so I found a screwdriver. Alright, that's your pin, put that aside. Now, this pin here, I've started tapping it. I'm going to tap it out there. There we go. Now all these spider's gears should somehow, yeah. So obviously when you buy a locker, it comes all nice and clean. You got all these little springs and pins are separate, they're not actually in it already. Comes with a box, comes with all the instructions. Like I say, read them again and again and again. But yeah, so they're greased up because they say to put grease on it, holds the pins, because the pins slide into here, and then the springs sit in them, and you gotta like flip it upside down, so you want to grease them up so they don't fall out. And like the pin goes to spring and pin goes to spring, top and bottom, like that. And how the locker actually works is they're closed, the springs push this out and it locks up this. Now when you turn, the friction's meant to close the springs and these skip, so that's how it unlocks, and that's why it makes a lot of noise. Like I gotta even get them to quicken. Yeah. They bang and clunk and so forth. So you put these two caps in first, then you check, just put the pin back through and check the distances and clearance between that. You get that close with these shims like I said, and then you got to pull that pin out, and then you got to install the middle bit, and you got to get clearance in between there. Right, you put them in there like that, put the pin back through. Now I've gone halfway, which is 0.33 of a mil of what the tolerance was. You want to stick that and get that in between there. So see, we've got too much in there. The other side's actually pretty good. So I might just take the pin back out. I might find a small shim, put it in that side. So I mucked around with this quite a bit, and I ended up not putting any of it. I ended up taking all the shims out, like all the shims, and it fits in there, and it's got the right clearance. That's the feeler gauge in there, so it's got the right clearance between there and there. So the pin, it was slightly open on the pin, but wasn't too bad. So this is a fiddly bit. I've seen this online when other installing these into other ones. Yeah, see, I've got to put them in there first, and then I've got to push them, not down there, down into there, and then I've got to try and squeeze the spring in after. So yeah, this bit sucks. You push the pin down, you get the spring in there, you gotta try and push the spring up onto there, like that side. It's not fun. Anyway, camera back down. Alright, new day, doing a bit more progress. So the locker's in there, it's all Shakira. The main pin's back in, and the pin that holds it is in. Everything's in, the ring gear's back on. So I've bolted that on, torque them up to spec. 140 I think it was. It was a bit of a pain because you have to sort of hold it still and torque it at the same time. A decent vise would be ideal to do that. So now it's shove it back in there, screwed the caps in, screwed them back in to the marks I made, like the green mark is where I started it. You went around in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back to there. Same with the other side. The white mark and where I put it in. Spin around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, it's set back to exactly where we had it when I pulled it apart. But now it's got the locker in it. So just finished torquing up the cover bolts. You can see all the RTV glue leaking out. I'm not going to put this in right away, so that I have time to set. Yeah, just the locker diff done. Wasn't a full how-to, but I should have given everyone a good idea of what to do. And I'm going to put that down now and start another project.